it is I, John Rittman. It is I, John Rittman. It is, yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Hello.
Spartan.
Hello. It is I, John Rittman.
Oh, whoops. It is I, John Rittman. You be quiet. There we go. Don't worry, John Rittman has your best interests at heart, and he's a professional streamer as well as lawyer. So, Ethan, I will let you know that we will be reading Yuri. We'll be reading fan fiction Yuri tonight, so you can stay or you can leave if you want to. This is a very different ballpark than what we are normally used to. I gotta find some though first. Let us. How's everybody doing tonight though? How's it all hanging? Hanging loose? Hanging floppy? Oh no, that sucks. Tired and pulling cable tomorrow. Oof. Like all day tomorrow or just some of the day tomorrow? I should. I need to charge my phone real quick. And sorry, well, no, this is the amount of preparedness I normally am. I say I'm going to stream and then I end up not doing it for hours. And then we get late to the party. There we go. No, that is... There we go. Whoa. Is there anything I need to be careful of? Just making sure, because don't want to like have it be like straight up hardcore fucking. Also, you have no idea, Ethan. You probably are very lost right now. You are probably like, what is this man talking about? Why is he pretending to be a dude called John Rittman? That is an easy answer. That is because I started an alternate Twitter where I pretend to be a lawyer for a fictional horse named Jovial Merriment. So it's very interesting what has happened on Twitter these past few weeks. There's been a bunch of horse racing, and people have started writing Yuri fan fictions about it because they all decided that they were girls, and it's been a ride. So it's been a little crazy. But I shall now slip back into my John Reitman persona. Isn't John Altman an actual person? I gotta look this up real quick. There's two. Yeah, he's an English actor and singer. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right. Yeah. Well, no. My name's John Reitman. I'm a lawyer. I'm a very professional lawyer. I'm a very good lawyer. And we have a lot of we're going to be doing a press conference soon for my client, Jovial Merriment, and prove all the allegations that have been filed against her false, because they're frankly ridiculous. You know, I don't understand why anybody believes them. But if you're talking about Wesley, then yeah, he's still a janitor. That's my brother. All right, I got some. We'll start. We can start. Do I have any sensitive information? No, I don't. It's fine. Could I have done this in a better way? Yes, I could have. Do I really want to, though? Don't really bug me. All right. So, here we are. Oh, hello. Yes, it is I, John Reitman. John Rittman, not Reitman. People confuse that a lot. They think it's Reitman. It's actually Rittman. Yes, we're actually. Oh fuck! You're the most predominant fan fiction writer on here, so I was like, well, I might as well start with theirs. We got some water. Yeah. Start with it. Yes, exactly. We gotta start with the classics, you know. This is like, oh man, like if you told somebody to like, man, I can't even. What's a good example? This is like, telling somebody to like start with the classics, and you're just like, but then you're just like, yeah, no, you should start with like, you know, if you want to go with like really good English literature, you should start with like, Shakespeare. You know, you should start with Shakespeare. You know, this is that kind of level. You know, took me a second to just even think of Shakespeare. I was like, who's a good writer, and nobody came to my mind. So with that, we shall get started. Yeah, well, I mean, you know, this is going to be something that is taught in schools. You know, they'll be like, you know, what was the you know, horse race testing, you know, community like, and like what were the cornerstones of it? You know, you got Jovial Merriment, you know, you got horse race testing themselves, and then you also got you know, Catworm Monarchs. Yuri fanfiction. It's like, really, what else are you gonna do? Yes, this is. I mean, I'll be. You don't even have to read. You know, I'll be doing the reading for you. That's the great thing about it. Thank you for joining us, Raspberry Gummy. So, yes, yeah, it's even better. It's even better. And then if I'm not tired, I do have my Wii plugged in, and we might play something special. Yes. Welcome everybody. Welcome. Yes. Oh, you're just in time then. You know, you don't even have to read it then. Has Beans 558. You know, you don't even have to. Yeah, HRT audiobook. You know. It's very exciting. It's gonna be a great time. A great time was had by all. All right. Yes, the horses are here. Okay, I'm gonna just start, because wow, this is, okay, holy crap, oh my jeez, no, I had to leave for a moment, because while I am John Rittman, I should just change my name. While I am John Rittman, I am. Yeah, you guys are breaking my brain right now because this is the most amount of viewers I've ever had. And I've been trying to get to 50 followers for a long time, and now we're 2 away, and I haven't even done anything. This is so I just wanted to thank you all. This is great. Thank you. Thank you all. I haven't even done anything to earn your follows yet, but thank you. So, with that out of the way, it will be yes, we will be getting Yuri time right now. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the Yuri. Chapter 1: White versus Cyan. Don't you want your name to be known? White stood staring at Cyan, her arms folded over her chest as she looked at the other horses with a mix of pity and disgust. You guys got me flustered. Can't I just be content to be here? Cyan asked with a shrug. Content? White scoffed. If you want to be content, go be a trail horse. You're a racer. Act like one. Cyan reached her hand up behind her head and scratched behind her ear, trying to process what White was saying. Well, what about Mary? She asked. You never see her acting super serious. Because that orange idiot is too drugged up to have any thoughts. Hold up. Catworm. We gotta take a time out here. You know, I just want to say, you know, as John Rittman, Jovial Merriman's lawyer, those allegations are completely false, and we will be holding a press conference, you know, a live press conference, to disprove all of these allegations. We have boxes of evidence. We have boxes of evidence right here. So, and we'll be going through it all. I had to take that time out, you know, real quick, because it's just, frankly, the allegations and the accusations, it's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking to have. She's just been struggling a lot with all, you know. There's so much pressure and so much hatred towards her, you know. Anyways, because that orange idiot is too drugged up to have any thoughts. That's not true. Cyan trailed off and glanced around, trying to see if anyone was overhearing them. Oh, don't be naive. You don't even sound sure yourself. We shouldn't be gossiping about our friends like this. Friends? Who made you think that think they were your friend? There's no room for that here. Maybe if you realized that, you'd actually start winning. Cyan's heart plummeted and her throat began to tighten. But, she choked, aren't we friends? Not anymore. Today one of us wins and one of us loses. I'm not going to let you hold me back anymore. Turning about on her wheel, White smoothed out her skirt and pushed her hair back over her shoulders. See on the track, Cy. She said over her shoulder, winner takes all. As she watched White walk off from the stables, Cyan brushed the back of her hand against her cheek, feeling the tears that ran down her face. Anxiety gripped her chest. She couldn't let her friends see her like this, if they were even her friends. She ran off into her stall and slammed the gate closed behind her. Her knees felt weak, and it was all she could do to hobble over the wall and rest against it. Will there ever come a day when I don't cry? 3, 2, 1, race. The gate slammed open, and White and Cyan dashed forth. Their speed was equally matched, hooves pounding against the dirt with fury. Almost as much dust was kicked up as track, as when the track was full. To Cyan, less horses only made the race feel more intense. Or maybe it was just that she couldn't stop thinking about White. About what she said. How could she toss all that away? Toss away all they had. Just like that. After all they had been through? All those long nights staring up at the stars? Talking about the places they'd go? The life they wanted to build together? Cyan gritted her teeth and plowed forwards. As the two horses reached the gateway at the same time, White shoved her shoulders into Cyan, sending her back away. White ran into her before while racing. That was the nature of the game. But had she ever done so with such force? There was a malice in the act that wrenched Cyan's heart in a way that didn't feel possible. Oh no, I'm gonna cry again, aren't I? White rushed ahead down the hall, leaving Cyan behind. Cyan's cry of pain echoed out from behind, and White chanced a glance over her shoulder. She was lagging behind, back in the starting stall, and gripping her arm in pain. Such weakness, White thought. God, let me win so I don't have to be like her. So White is so mean. The next corner came up. White quickly hooked a right. This was too easy. The carrots would be hers in no time. But as she ran down the next hallway, she could hear hoof beats behind her. There was no way Cyan had caught up already. She had to look back and check. That loser was about to round the next corner. White skid to a stop and ran back down the hall. Better to play dirty than to let Cyan catch up. This was the dawn of a new day, and a day when people would finally know her name, and she couldn't let anyone dare to think that this was a close match. Cyan began to round the corner and her eyes went wide as she saw White charge forth. "That's the wrong way, White," she said, slowing down. "Did you get lost?" As soon as she had finished talking, White's elbow plunged into her stomach. All the air in Cyan's lungs rushed out at once. Surely that was a mistake, right? Cyan looked up to White, pleading with her eyes. She didn't even have to say sorry. She just looked surprised. She just had to look surprised. Anything to indicate that this was not on purpose. "Stay back," White said. "You're getting in my way." There was only so much heartbreak that she could take. Cyan stuck her leg out, tripping White as she tried to get back into the hallway. White retaliated, kicking up dust and blinding Cyan, causing her to run into one of the halls. Causing her to run into one of the walls. Pushing herself off, she backed into White on accident, redirecting her back away. The two continued into a confused dance, shoving each other both on purpose and accidentally, as they tried to enter the next hallway and prevent their competitor from following. As Cyan spun on her heels and tried to catch her balance, White saw an opportunity and fled down the hallway once more. Cyan recovered and took her chance to go down another hallway. She may have felt dizzy, but at least she remembered her left from right. It was something White always struggled with. It doesn't matter who wins, White. It doesn't matter who wins, White, Cyan said to herself as she continued to plow forward. As long as we have each other, our love will be sweeter than any carrots. I hope you'll realize that someday. Next chapter. Chapter 2. Winning is a choice. 2 days ago. I'm telling you, all I get off is the thrill of the race. Jovial merriment leaned back against the bleachers behind her, arms slung over the steel bench as she swung a carrot around by its leaves. One of the many she had accrued by being the top of the herd. Some said her carelessness with carrots was a sign of arrogance and disrespect. She said it was because she got hungry. And what are carrots for if not eating? Gray nodded along with a smile. Yeah, of course, she said. I was only wondering, Zal. I can't wait to find who started that rumor, Yellow said with as she crossed her arms and scowled. Calling into question the integrity of these races, it's just shameful. It's no big deal, Mary said as she took a big chomp of her carrot. Let them think what they will. Besides, what is it they say? All publicity is good publicity? I'm not sure that's said as a good thing, Yellow grumbled. Besides, aren't you worried about getting disqualified if too many people think that? Oh. Huh. Guess I didn't think of that. You're right, that would be pretty bad. Well, hopefully the rumors just blow over, Gray said. People need something to talk about. And now they've got something new to talk about, a voice called out from over the tracks. A girl approached wearing a long, dark navy jacket with the gold piping and bullets, white breeches, and a loose tie around with a loose tie around her neck. Her shaggy indigo bob fluttered around in the wind, getting in the way of her piercing sapphire eyes that stared like daggers at jovial merriment. The orange horse chomped off another piece of the carrot and cocked head at the newcomer. Oh, hi, Bolton, she said with a smile and a full mouth. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, hi, Bolton, she said with a smile and a full mouth. Congrats on the win. You did good out there. Bolton Board snorted, rolled her eyes. Right, of course, she said. I guess I should thank you for wasting your time in that stupid circle. Yellow narrowed her eyes and stepped forward, cutting between Mary and Bolton. Did you just come here to gloat? Isn't winning enough? Are you seriously trying to protect Miss I've won more than any other horse except me? I think she can handle it. Do people actually call you that? Gray whispered. That's a bit of a mouthful. Thanks, Yellow, Mary said as she hopped off the bleachers and came alongside Yellow, propping her elbow on another girl's shoulder. But she's kind of right. I was wasting time there. Honestly, I just didn't feel like winning that day. Bolton raised a skeptical eyebrow. Gray's eyes widened into saucers. And Yellow beamed up at Mary as she leaned on her. Bolton raised a skeptical eyebrow. Wait, did I say? Yes, I already read that. So that's the story you want to go with? Bolton asked. Oh, no, hold on. Let me retake that. So that's the story you want to go with, Bolton asked, letting her voice dripping with doubt. You just didn't feel like winning? Yeah, right. You just let me even up the score with you. Sure did, she said, taking another bite of the carrot, then offering the next to Yellow. I like having competition. Besides, I got tired of the press and the photographs, the victory party. I just wanted to chill that night. Yellow looked back and forth between Mary and the carrot, then leaned in and took a bite of the carrot while Mary kept holding it. I know you, Bolton said. You care about winning more than anything else. You revel in the spotlight. Sounds like you're projecting a bit, Yellow said. Sometimes I do really want to win, Mary said. But some days my head's just elsewhere, I guess. Those performance enhancers will do that to you. Is that what you think about all this? I'm kind of tired about yapping about that. I just want a fair match, Jovial. That means no drugs and taking this seriously. That's all you want? That's all I want. Consider it done, Jovial Merriment said, as she flashed a smile at Bolton. Smiling seemed to be her natural state, but this was different. There was something about this grin that touched a deep part of Bolton's psyche, a fight or flight response triggered by some primal threat, dangerous that the body reacts on instinct. She took her head and backed away. Surely she was just imagining those things, overreacting. It was a bad habit of hers that she tried hard to rein in. "See you at the races then," Bolton said, and walked off, still trying to shake away the feeling that Jovial left with her. That was weird, Gray said. "What are you gonna do about her?" There's only one thing I can do," Mary said. "Win." One sec. Where am I at? Here I am. Gray barreled out of the gate down the Genesis hallway, leaving the other horses in the dust. She smiled, hopefully that finally she would achieve victory again. But she soon corrected those feelings. "I haven't won yet," she thought to herself. "Not by a long shot. I need to focus. I can't let myself keep losing." She glanced behind herself and saw Yellow catching up, and Bolton not far behind. Maybe she could stay ahead of Yellow, but Bolton was another problem. "I'm not cut out for this. I'll always lose to a faster horse. Look at how fast Bolton can gallop. Why am I even in the same league as her? This whole thing is a mistake." As she was distracted and lost in her thoughts, she slammed into a wall ahead of her and stumbled backwards. She clutched her head and, in a dazed stupor, walked into the track, cutting off Yellow and driving her away from the course into another wall. "Hey!" Yellow shouted. "Sorry," Gray replied, then laughed awkwardly. "Didn't see where I was going." "Talk later, race now." She's right, Gray thought. I'm a klutz. I'm gonna cost myself this race. I need to do better. I need to. "Look out!" Yellow shouted. Gray turned just in time to see Bolton catching up. She pushed straight into the two horses, pushing them into the corner. It didn't even seem like Bolton was looking at them, more like through them, and then focusing on the track. Yellow and Gray tried to keep on track. In the confusion of the dirt and dust filling the air, pushed into each other and Bolton. Yellow moved defensively, keeping Bolton from pushing forward, while Gray tried her best to find a way back onto the course. Then, a sound of galloping unlike any other, more of a joyful skip than anything else, but fast and strong. Jovial had arrived. The orange horse barreled into the other three, and unable to see where she was going. The next several seconds passed in chaos, as the addition of yet another horse made it impossible to see, move, or think about where to go. And all of them knew that once the dust settled, and Doorknob could make it out of the starting gates, she would hold no mercy in reaching the end. Mary couldn't waste time here. The others could get stuck in their worries or strategize too much and reel when their plans fell apart. That was where Mary had an advantage. She saw the track and nothing else. As soon as she saw an opening, she slipped out of the scuffle and raced down the next hallway. With one less horse present, the jam started to clear, and Yellow was next out. She pushed forward, trying to catch up to Mary. She wanted to run alongside her, perhaps even win with Mary at second place behind her. But the hallway was too narrow to accommodate the two. Yellow bumped against Mary and stumbled. She fell and caught her knee, wincing in pain. Mary skidded to a halt and looked back, worry plastered all over her face. "Keep going," Yellow said. "I'll be fine." Mary gulped and nodded. She got back into the starting position and took off once more. Hoofbeats approached. Someone was about to overtake her. Bolton, she reckoned. That was fine. She had to focus and keep pushing hard, even harder. But the hoofbeats were regular, well-paced, mechanical in their precision and repetitiveness. This was not Bolton. This was the girl that had dominated the second track. The only other horse to challenge Mary and Bolton in speed. She was never clouded by emotions, never viewing the races more than just a job that she was one of the best at. Doorknob had arrived. Mary felt a panic grip her as Doorknob cruised on ahead, not once glancing over to Mary, or focusing on anything other than the track. "No!" Mary yelled out. She tried to match Doorknob's pace, but fell short. The carrots came into view. There was no way she could catch up in time, at least not if she aimed for the carrots. Doorknob was having trouble making a sharp turn, and Mary saw her opportunity. She changed her trajectory and slammed straight into Doorknob with her shoulder. Doorknob reeled and refocused, not trying to waste time retaliating, but before she could get up to speed again, she was slammed once more by Mary. The orange horse had leaped into the air, using her full weight to send Doorknob back. The two fell to the ground, but Mary was quicker in her recovery. Already back on her feet, she kicked up as much dust as she could and began to run. Doorknob always had poor eyesight in the dust, so she trusted her ears. She closed her eyes and followed the sounds of Mary's hooves. But after several seconds of running, she realized there were multiple horses ahead of her. How could that be? How could that be? She opened her eyes to find herself back further than towards the starting gates. Mary had tricked her by running in the opposite direction of the carrots. At the finish line, Mary pranced around, twirled, and danced. The carrots were hers. Nobody could stop her. She couldn't help but celebrate. She waved to the huge crowd with a huge grin as she gave a show. Mary had heard many stories growing up warning against a premature celebration, but she didn't care. She needed the crowd to know that she wasn't just good, she was the best. She needed Bolton to know that she was a worthy competitor. It was the only way to get her attention after all. And when she was on the track, there was no other horse she would rather have watching her win. Just want to take one quick second to ask everybody how the volume is and if there is anything like setting wise or anything like that. Volume good? A bit low? You can turn it up a little, just a skosh. There we go. A little louder. There we are. Yeah, there we go. That better, or do we need to go up just like a skosh more? And there's a after we get done with stream, I will read all of the people who have followed me, because that is only fair, I feel like, with you guys helping to overshoot my goal of reaching 50 followers in like the span of like 5 minutes. So yeah, you don't have to stay for that, but if you want to hear your name read, you are more than happy. You're more than welcome to stay. But I'll do that even if there's 0 viewers. So with that, let us continue. Chapter 3. Your name on my lips. More like, your lips on my lips. Oh. Gray leaned over the water trough and scooped up a large handful of water. She brought it up to her, high over her head and released it. It was a cooling waterfall to wash away at least some of the sweat and dirt. Another race lost, but it was to Jovial, so it really didn't matter, right? She was one of the greatest racehorses alive, after all. Not even Doorknob could beat her in the home stretch, but Gray couldn't even get to that final stage. Was she really worthy of this? As if she could hear Gray thinking about her, Doorknob walked up and tossed her leather jacket to the ground. She sighed and rolled her shoulders, then plunged her head straight into the trough. Oh, okay. I thought that Doorknob was tossing Gray's jacket to the ground. I was like, what? Yeah, no, it makes sense now. She kept it there for several seconds, not drinking or breathing, then smoothly lifted her head up. Doorknob was in complete control of her body, even while trying to cool off from a race. If only I could be that graceful, Gray thought. Even when she didn't win, she never wavers. No one ever thinks she's weak. God, I want to be her. I want her. Gray realized she was staring and quickly tried to come up with something to say to mask it. So, have a good race? A race is a race. Doorknob leaned down to pick up her jacket, then turned to face Gray. Win, lose, whatever. They get paid either way. Just a little less if we lose. Easy thing to say when you've got a name. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, I guess you're right. Sorry. Yeah, you're right, I guess, Gray said, while scratching the back of her neck. I heard you got real close out there. Nice work. I choked. I made a mistake somewhere. Not sure where, but I'll find it in the reviews. Reviews? Yes, reviews. Watching the recordings, seeing what went right, what went wrong. Do you not review? No, not really. I just sort of stick with what I'm with doing what I know. Review your races. You have potential. Capitalize on it. Yeah, maybe. Seeing her mistake and reliving those painful moments was the last thing that Gray wanted to do, but she couldn't let Doorknob know that. Say, do you know where White and Cyan are? Gray said, hoping to change the subject. It's odd not seeing them at the race. I was not expecting to see Torture Labyrinth writing pronouns when they're all girls sucks. I bet. I feel like that's just like for any like single gender. How a linguistics term was coined after this. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we got Torture Labyrinth. We got oh, wait. Oh. I'm getting caught up in chat. We gotta go back to what's important. We gotta focus here. Come on, focus in. Where was I? Oh, this is why you don't stop reading. Oh yeah, that's right. Torture Labyrinth. They were sent to the torture lab. They were sent to the Torture Labyrinth. Gray's jaw dropped. The Torture Labyrinth? She couldn't have the Torture Labyrinth? She couldn't have possibly heard that correctly, right? That's what the designers called it. I think it's a joke. I tested the track for them. Pretty easy. Just take 3 right turns. So, left, right. 3 of them. Right. So one's left? No, just right. Yeah, all right. Always, I hope they're doing okay. We'll see. I saw White before the race. She was possessed. Possessed? Yes, with the need to win. How does it feel to be a champion again? Yellow asked as she loomed over jovial merriment and braided her hair while kneeling on a sheepskin rug. It was a small section of hair on the right side of her face. That was how Mary liked it, so that's how Yellow liked it. Mary smiled wide, her eyes closed in quiet contentment as she basked on a few rays of the afternoon sunlight that glistened through the window. Feels like home. Where is home for you? I don't think I ever asked. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. Home for me is a track with friends and a lot of tasty carrots. Okay, how about when you retire? Blah. Mary faked gagged. Don't even want to think about that. Guess I'll leave that decision up to you. Up to me? Yellow reeled back. Why not? Mary giggled and sat up, propping herself on her elbows. You're my closest friend, after all. I'd love to live with you. Oh, right, friends. What else would we be? What else would we be? It's nothing. Don't worry about it. Mary shrugged and flopped back down. Mary, you're naive. Get that, girl. Come on. Yellow followed her motion downwards and picked up the half braided hair to continue her work. You don't have to spend so much time fussing over me, you know. But I enjoy it. A champion deserves to be cared for. A champion, huh? Just yesterday the scores were tied. And before that you were winning. You know they're calling you the greatest racehorse of all time. People love you. That's a bit of an exaggeration. Well, it's what they say. You make people happy. They love watching you. And they love to say I cheat too, Mary sighed and displayed her palms on the rug, feeling the dense, soft sheepskin. That's all I want to do, you know, make people happy. I want to have fun racing, and I want them to have fun too. Do you have fun? Of course I do. But all these people take it too seriously. The fans bet so much on us, and the other horses throw around these rumors and challenges. It's a bit much. Then prove them wrong. Show them something legendary, and have fun doing it. Prove to them you don't have to be serious to be great. Something legendary, huh? Mary stared up at the ceiling and pursed her lips. What's the quickest anyone's completed a race? 1 minute and 45 milliseconds? Wow. You pulled that one out quickly. Mary giggled. Whose time for that? Yellow laughed and tied off the end of the braid. And dropped it to Mary's face. You're silly. Oh, yeah, duh. Mary lightly smacked herself on the forehead with the heel of her hand, and then shook her head to get the hair off of her face. I really am the best, huh? Well, how about a time under a minute? That'd be pretty legendary. That'd be extraordinary. But if anybody could do it, it's you. I'll help you get there too. No, I'm not dragging you into the pie. Dragging you into my pie in the sky dreams. You should be training too. It's been a bit since your last victory, hasn't it? Don't you want people to know your name? Don't worry about me. I'm doing fine. Besides, you win enough for both of us. What are we, a duo now? I don't think that's the thing in racing, unless it's a relay race. Maybe not on the tracks, but off the tracks, we could be a duo, a pair. Yellow coughed and waved it off. Well, there's a lot of words for two people, but what I mean is, I want to support you. I'm happy when you're happy, and when you're happy, and you're happy when you win. So let me help you win. All right then. But after that, you win. I want to know the feeling of your name on my lips. Ooh. That's 3. Come on, one more, Doorknob said, as she stood over the leg press. Nobody stops at odd numbers. Bulletin Board gritted her teeth and used all the energy she could with her legs once more. One more rep. That was all she needed to do. Then she could let her legs collapse. That's 4. Great. Now one more, Knob said. Nobody stops at 4. Bolton shot daggers with her eyes, but she closed her eyes and pushed forward. 5. You know, I hear... 5. You know, I hear Jovial does sets of 6. That was all she needed to hear. The next 2 came in quick succession. 7 reps at 300 pounds. Damn! It was more than she had ever done. And it was embarrassingly easy. One orange fool shouldn't make me feel this way. 7. One more. Nobody stops at odd numbers. Bolton shouted and forced her leg press up one more time and then let it collapse back down. I remember why I stopped training with you now, she said. It's all... Is this what you tell yourself when you work out? No, Knob said plainly. She swapped as she swapped with Bolton and slid into the leg press machine. I just do it. If only all the girls were workhorses like you, she said. Then we'd have some real competition. I think you have enough competition. Mary and I both got much closer to the carrots than you last race. I can respect losing to you, Bolton huffed and crossed her arms. But Mary? Because she's cheating, Knob asked. Because she's cheating? Knob asked as she pushed leg press up and down, barely breaking a sweat. No, Bolton reluctantly admitted. I don't think she's cheating. She's naturally good, and that's the problem. You and I work for this. We pour blood, sweat, and tears into this. Even White's trying to improve herself at all costs, but Mary? She just trots around with that stupid grin, acting like it's all a game. You hate her because she enjoys herself? It's because whenever she wins, she's so carefree. It makes it look like all we do to get there is a waste. What does hard work have when compared to that? She doesn't just win. She wins with style. She danced last time. Danced while we tried to reach the carrots. You sound obsessed, Knob said, as she stepped away from the leg press. Bolton frowned and looked and took her seat in the machine once more. With every painful rep, she thought of Mary, that goofy smile, the way she made friends as easily as she ran, her beautiful brown hair. Doorknob was right. She was obsessed. Even when she won, she still thought of Mary. If winning wasn't a solution, what was? Did she hate Mary for beating her? Or because there wasn't room for at the top for 2 horses? As long as Mary galloped faster than her, then they'd never be able to race side by side. Who the fuck are they? Who the fuck are they? Doorknob monotonely asked asked no one in particular. That's right. I'm Red, the red horse announced, spinning towards Doorknob and pointing to herself with a thumb to her chest. I'm the new fastest horse on the block, so just stay out of my way. And I'm Pink, the pink horse muttered, while wringing her hands. Please, I don't want any trouble. I'll stay out of your way. Promise. The other 5 horses looked at each other with equal amounts of skepticism and confusion. Gray shuffled over to Doorknob and leaned in. Are Cyan and White still in the labyrinth? She whispered. Must be, Doorknob answered with a shrug. Gray furrowed her brow and stepped back into line. She had more time than she wanted to say, but the announcer had already begun to count down. 9. Yeah. 8. 7. Yellow looked over to Mary, and the two nodded at each other as they took their starting positions. 6. 5. 4. Bolton stared at Mary. That unnerving smile was back on her face. What was that? And what was that nod that Yellow and Mary shared about? 3, 2, 1. All 7 horses galloped through though only the red horse made it out. Only red made it out of as the crowd became jammed in the starting gates. See you all later, losers, she yelled out, leaving behind the rest in the dust. Too easy, she thought to herself. And I thought this league had real champions. Red couldn't stay complacent for long, however. Out of the dust sprinted forth Yellow, hot on our trail. Such a prim and neatly kept girl didn't seem like she'd cause any trouble. She'd cause any troubles. So Red turned her attention back to the hallway and kept moving forward. A critical mistake. Yellow threw her hands out and grabbed Red by the shoulders, yanking her back and twisting her around. What the? Red shouted and whirled. How dare someone try to sabotage me like that? This yellow-haired horse would have to pay. Back at the starting gate, Pink quickly slipped out of the first. Pink quickly slipped out at the first opportunity and dashed down a side hall. She crouched down, shivering in fear. So much dust, noise, and bodies shoving into each other. What kind of horse races were these? Mary followed Pink's lead into the same opening. As soon as she was out of the scuffle, she looked up at the digital clock hanging above the track. 13 seconds already. Too much time wasted in the starting gates. She had to step things up, push herself into overdrive. This was not about to be this was not the moment to be jovial. This was not the moment to be merry. This was a moment to be the greatest of all time. Red began to push back into Yellow, but out of nowhere, an orange blur rammed into her. Was that Mary? She couldn't even catch a glimpse. The nerve of these horses. She dug her heels into the dirt and began to give chase, but Yellow stuck her hoof out and tripped Red before she could even take 2 steps. Yellow and Mary dashed down the hall, Yellow in the lead, scouting out for Mary and showing her the way. Mary controlled her breath, paced herself for the final push. 20 seconds. The time was running out. Come on, Mary! Yellow shouted. Around this corner! Mary narrowed her eyes and focused. If she got the angle just right, she could turn without having to slow down. It risked a wipeout, but if it paid off, it'd be worth it. Full speed ahead. Damn the consequences. A miscalculation. Her feet gave out from under her. The ground began to approach. Then her warm hands propping her up, and a gentle push forward. She didn't fall. Around the corner, she went on. 25 seconds. Wait! Yellow shouted. Mary could see the carrots. The prize was hers, but she turned to see what Yellow wanted. The other horse trotted up and grabbed Mary by the wrist. You look too serious, Yellow whispered to Mary. You need to win with a smile. Here, I can't let you feel my name on your lips, but I can let you feel this. Before Mary could respond or react in any way, Yellow leaned in and planted a kiss on Mary's lips. It was only the briefest sensation, but Mary could feel the warmth of the sun in that moment. Now go, Yellow said, her face bright pink. Be a legend. Mary broke it out into a wide, full-toothed grin and dashed off. There was no walls, horses, or dust obstructing her. Nothing could stand in her way. The world was hers. Yellow was hers. And in only a few seconds, the carrots at the end of the track was hers. The buzzer sounded. 32.10 seconds. The fastest time a horse had ever achieved. Bars indeed. Thank you. Yeah, I was hoping that it was a good announcer impression. Oh, this hot fan fiction's got me worked up. Chapter 4, Downtown Skybox. Knock, knock, knock. Gray tapped on the dorm room's door, but nobody answered. Hello? She called out. What? Are you in there? Silence. Cyan wasn't in her room either, or at least wasn't answering. Nor were the two horses at the practice tracks, at the gym, grabbing lunch, or socializing with any of the other horses. She asked if anybody had seen them. There was no leads. Rumors floated about that they were kicked from the league due to their poor performance, and were replaced with red and pink. But something didn't sit right with Gray. Gray was right all along. There's something not right. I'm just saying. The timing worked out, sure, but maybe red and pink were their replacements. But why would it be kept so secretive? Were they still in that labyrinth? Surely not. It shouldn't take days to complete a track, unless they were never meant to finish the race. A horrifying realization swept over Gray. Was this what they did to horses that fell behind? Trapped them in the labyrinth until everyone forgot they existed? Her stomach twisted into knots, and the ground began to spin. Am I next? Guilt flooded her. She should be thinking about her friends, not herself. They're the ones who've been trapped. The sole comforting thought was that White and Cyan at least had each other. They were always such good friends, but only if they had won just one race. They could still be here. They could even have names. Gray didn't have one yet either. Just a color, an interchangeable cog in the machine. Is the competition not exciting enough? Are the bets not risky and thrilling? Just one cog and replace it with the next? Red for White, pink for Cyan. Next, would it be green for Gray? Her stomach churned and collapsed against White's door, just barely stopping herself from falling by the clutches onto the handle. Second place gets nothing. I need to win. Gray slammed her foot into the ground with anger. In anger, not at any organizers of the race or the cruel system, but at herself. How could she be so stupid? No reviewing the races, no extra sessions practicing on the tracks, no strict exercise regimen. She had told herself, why bother if winning was just one-time fluke? Her complacency would be the death of her. Something had to change. I need to win. But how? Was it even possible to win at this point? Everyone was so far ahead of her. They had been training while she sat back and let them continue to surpass them further and further. What she needed was a trainer. Doorknob was good, but she had fallen behind in recent races. Jovial merriment was an obvious choice, but not only was she swarmed with the press and celebrations after her phenomenal win streak, it really seemed like it came naturally for her. This is if she was telling the truth about being clean. That only left one winner, and it was the one she and it was the one that she was most scared of approaching. Can you believe the audacity of that horse? Bolton shouted as she pulled a pair of sneakers out from her locker and slammed the door shut. Gray winced and jumped slightly from the loud noise. Well, this was exactly why Bolton was her last choice. I'm not sure I understand. She cheated! You mean you still think she's doping? Gray asked in a hushed tone. She took a step closer and looked frantically around, ensuring that they were truly alone. No, Bolton said. No, Bolton said as loud as ever. That I won't say as loud as ever for your ears, dear viewers. Well, maybe she is. If she wants to resort to to this sort of low-handed, unsportsmanlike, cowardly behavior, and so blatantly at that, then who knows what she's doing behind closed doors to get an edge? Are you talking about Yellow kissing her? What? No, Bolton quickly said as her face began to turn a brighter shade of red. Ooh. I don't know what was up with that, but I do know it's completely against the spirit of the competition to have another horse aid your victory like that. Yellow easily could have won on her own, but she didn't. I don't know what leverage Jovial is holding over her head, or how much he paid her, but I can't let her get away with it. Excuse me. Ugh. Well, based on that kiss, we don't even know if that was a kiss. Bolton interjected. They were a bit obscured and none of us saw it. Only the audience. We're working off secondhand information here. Maybe they were just whispering about something to each other. Gray shuffled around and stared down at her feet. This was not the conversation she wanted to be having, or even listening to. Mary and Yellow were her friends. And here Bolton was calling into question their character. Did she not see that they were just supporting each other? But it wouldn't do any good to call her out on it. That would only send her spiraling even further. And then who would train her? So Gray began to trying to redirect the conversation. I've been realizing I've been falling behind lately, and I was wondering if it's not too much trouble if I could help. If you could help me with some training. Absolutely, she said with a smirk. If I beat Jovial, nothing will change. But if you beat her, then maybe she'll come to her senses and try to win fairly. She'll realize that this track isn't her personal playground. Of course, Gray thought. It always comes back to jovial merriment with this one. Well, beggars can't be choosers. This won't be easy, Bolton continued. We'll train from sunup to sundown. When you need to rest from racing, you'll be reviewing your mistakes. You'll be able to tell me every single thing you did wrong and what you could have done differently. You'll have the skill to execute those changes. Gray's heart sank. This sounded like hell. She lay awake at night, trying all she could to stop thinking about her past mistakes. Now she would be forced to learn even more mistakes and why she was an idiot for not doing something else. She wanted to turn around and flee from the locker room to tell Bolton that she changed her mind actually, and that Mary seemed like a better fit for a trainer, but she wouldn't get her name then. She needed a name. She needed to live. Okay, Gray said with a heavy sigh and a firm nod of her head. Let's do it. Whatever it takes. Miss Merriman, what do you have to say about the accusations that you're taking performance-enhancing drugs to achieve your sub-minute race? Are you aware that you're a role model to millions of foals? Do you think your behavior on this track could set a good example for them? What is the nature of your relationship with Yellow? Are you two dating? Did you pay Yellow off to win? There are allegations that you bullied and coerced other horses into staying at the starting gate. How would you like to respond? Mary kept replaying the interviews again and again in her head, and she crouched down on the track. She was supposed to be a legend right now. Fastest time ever. But all she heard was rumors and accusations. There was even a petition going around to test her for drugs and kick her off the league. The other horses kept their distance. Grace started training with Bolton. Red complained about how Mary and Yellow sabotaged her to sabotaged her. Wait, did I? Red complained about how Mary and Yellow sabotaged her to anyone. Oh, to anyone that would listen. Pink seemed scared to even be near Mary, and even the cool and collected Doorknob was talking about how the last race didn't reflect true skill. She looked over to her right. Yellow was crouched beside her, ready for their practice race. But like she still had that ray of sunshine beside her. After every press conference, every nasty argument, Yellow was there for her to hold her tight. Did I? No, we're good. I thought I missed a chapter, and I was like, no, we're good. Yellow was there for her to hold her tight and to let her know that it would all be okay. They hadn't kissed again or even mentioned what happened, but that was okay. Not everything had to be labeled, dissected, and investigated. Mary was happy to have at least one thing in her life that she didn't need to question. Hey, Mary said, I don't feel like racing right now. That's okay, Yellow said with a gentle smile. She stood up from her crouched ready position and walked over to the grass and sat down with her legs folded underneath her. We can just rest. Yellow could see the heavy bags under Mary's eyes. Everything seemed like a struggle today. Even as Mary stood up and walked over with a smile, it felt forced and strained. She had never seen Mary like this. Everything about her was supposed to be effortless, especially that goofy grin that was plastered on her face. Mary slowly set herself down on the grass next to Yellow and leaned her head against her shoulder. I'm so tired of this bullshit, she said wearily. I know, Yellow said, began to stroke Mary's hair. Things will calm down soon, don't worry. And if they don't, then I'll be here to help every step of the way. What did I ever do to deserve someone like you? Just being who you are. Mary snuggled her head into the crook between Yellow's jaw and shoulder and closed her eyes. You know, retirement doesn't sound so bad now, Mary said. And things at their peak. But what if someone beats your record? Then maybe they'll leave me alone. Yellow mused to herself. This all felt so wrong, but it didn't feel like she could say anything beyond just platitudes. So she said nothing and continued to stroke Mary's hair as she gazed up at the sky. I should just sit the next race out, Mary said with a sigh. My fans will understand. Do that and I'll kick your ass. Do that and I'll kick your ass, someone said from across the track. Mary looked up to see Doorknob sauntering up, thumbs tucked between her belt and her ripped jeans. Yellow removed her hand from Mary's head and clutched the grass below her until her knuckles turned white. What's your problem? Yellow said. Can't you see that she's going through a lot right now? Knob looked down at Mary and shrugged her shoulders. You can feel whatever you want on the track. You can feel whatever you want off the track, she said. But when the buzzer sounds and the gates open, you better have your head in the game. What's it matter to you? Mary said. If you stop competing, the bets are all thrown off and the interest is lost. We don't need you to win. We don't need you to win. Actually, we need you to win less. But we do need you to be seen as a worthy competitor. Not some has-been. A has-been? Yellow balked. She's the reigning champion and the fastest racer of all time. For now, the tides turn quickly. Red is talking a big game and being the fastest horse from her old league, and that she's coming for your title. Bolton's is always a clear threat, and I hear even Gray is gunning for the top now. So you'll have a new champion. Your paycheck will be fine. That's not how it works. We all need to do better when we all perform at our best. and I know you're capable of more. I'll see you at the starting line. Doorknob turned on her heel and walked back off, boots loudly stomping across the track. You don't have to listen to her, Yellow said quietly. She can deal with it. Yeah, I guess. Mary trailed off. Doorknob would be fine, but she had a point. Committed racers uplift each other, and if Yellow kept clinging to Mary as she spiraled, the two would plummet together. It was one thing to fall alone. It was another to drag an innocent soul down with you. I need more water. Ugh. The starting gate was pure madness. Indistinguishable shapes moved about, colliding with force and purpose. This was not like the other chaotic starts, where horses tried to find their way and bumped into each other as they looked for the exit. They pulled each other back and pushed each other when someone got close to the exit. Only Red and Gray managed to escape as they raced down the hall together. Sorry, Mary, Pink stuttered as she grabbed onto the orange jacket and strained to pull her back. Red told me that I had to stop you from interfering again. As Mary began to slip back and fall, Doorknob collided with Pink and shoved her away. Let her race, new blood. While Pink and Doorknob wrangled with each other, Bolt and Board charged towards Mary. Yellow saw this and tried to rush forth, but Mary put a palm up to stop her. Ooh, sorry. Excuse me. But Mary put a palm up to stop her. Don't, Mary cried out. Go race, I'll be fine. But, Yellow started. But nothing. I want to know your name. Yellow gasped and quickly shut her mouth and gave a solid nod. Mary was the greatest racer. She could handle herself. And if knowing her name was what Mary wanted, then that's what she would get. Mary watched as a Yellow ran out of the gate and was blindsided when Bolton swept her legs. She collapsed on the dirt with a loud thud. She wiped her nose and struggled to get back to her feet. Blood. Get up, Bolton said. Why? So you can kick me down again? Mary looked around to see if Doorknob was able to help, but she had gotten stuck in the side alcove, pushed in there by Ping. Guess she'd have to deal with Bolton alone. You cheated. Nothing in the rules says one horse can't help another. Mary stumbled to her feet and immediately sidestepped out of the way as Bolton charged in with her shoulder. They say a lot about bribery, Bolton huffed as she tried to catch Mary, who dodged out of the way of the next few lunges with expert grace. And coercion. What about love? Bolton froze. What? That's why she helped me. She loves me. But why break the integrity of a race? I'll tell you why I did it, Mary huffed out, catching her breath as the fight paused for a moment. I did it because I've never seen you truly happy while racing. I wanted to prove that I can have fun and win at the same time. What do you mean, integrity? Do you hear yourself? You're trying to stop me from racing. If you want to race, go. Bolton took a few uneasy steps back. Mary was right. How did she not see it? She'd been too obsessed with Mary, with racing beside her, that she'd forgotten her own principles. She wanted to snap back. She wanted to say something to rebuke all of Mary's points, but nothing came out. Instead, she turned and ran off the track, leaving Mary behind. Further down the track, Yellow dashed ahead. She stumbled in a few places, but overall, it was looking like one of her best runs yet. The only horse ahead of her was Gray. She'd never seen Gray race like this before. The slight hesitant horse had become agile and deft, taking every turn with precision. When she began to stumble, she redirected the momentum to power herself forward. She slid around turns, grabbed protruding corners, and to redirect herself. And that look in her eyes, there was a moment of fierce determination in them. "You're doing great. You're doing great, Gray," Yellow said as she saddled up next to her. "Do a lot of training lately?" Gray fought the desire to look at Yellow. That was a mistake she had made in the past. Eyes on the track. "Bolton has been helping me," Gray said. "I need to know my name." "Guess we're racing for the same thing then." Gray hesitated. Perhaps it was selfish of her to keep racing when Yellow wanted the same thing. They'd both only won once. They needed names. She was a fast horse too. She sacrificed her chance at victory in the last race to help Mary. She was better than Gray in other ways too. Gentler, friendlier, prettier. May the best horse win after all, and best meant more than just speed. "Watch out," Yellow cried. Gray looked up and skidded to a halt as they collided with a wall. Damn it. She got lost in her thoughts again and stopped paying attention to the track. It was one of her worst mistakes. "Are you okay?" Yellow asked, seeing the panic in Gray's face. "Yeah, I'll be okay," she said while crouching down to get herself up running again. "You really want this, huh?" "I'm afraid." I'm afraid, she said under her breath. Afraid of just being some random horse that can be replaced on a whim, like White and Cyan. Yellow smiled pitifully at Gray. She was doing this for Mary. Gray was doing this for herself. She already had what she wanted. Did she really need to scoop this from Gray? What about Mary? There was no sign of her running down the track. She had told Yellow to go, but still she abandoned her. She shouldn't have listened. She was back there helping her out. "I'll leave you to it then." "Huh?" Gray looked up in bewilderment. But Yellow was already sprinting off in the other direction. Why aren't you racing?" Bolton called out as she ran down the track. "Come on, eyes forward, keep moving." "Yes, ma'am," Gray shouted as she sprinted off, Bolton trailing behind her. Back at the starting stables, jovial merriment just slept against the wall. Doorknob had gotten free of her confinement and driven off Pink. That shy little horse was a whole lot stronger than she expected. She could have gone off after them, joined the race, but what would be the point? The race was probably about to end anyways, and she'd just end up in last place. Better to take the moment to rest instead. So she closed her eyes and tried to control her breaths. The sound of hoof steps came cantering up, forced her eyes to open. Yellow entered the starting gate and spared no time diving for Mary and embracing her. The hug hurt as Yellow squeezed broken ribs, but it felt so good at the same time. Mary returned the embrace and didn't let go. "Yellow," she exclaimed, "what are you doing back here?" "I could ask you that." One moment. It shouldn't be on Minecraft Wood. How's that? Did that fix it? All right. Where was I? There we are. It was it was too much. I just can't race today. That's all right. You can rest. It's almost over, and you'll still be the champion. And if I never win another race, then you'll still have won my heart. The two continued to hold each other, refusing to let go, even as tears ran down each other's backs. At the end of the race, at the end of the track, Gray and Bolton raced neck to neck. There was no purposeful shoving, tripping, or kicking up dust, just a good, classic race. Everything Bolton taught her, Gray practiced, but that also meant she was predictable. Bolton used it to her advantage, finding the perfect angles of attack to cut her off or make a turn without colliding. I'm not like Yellow, Bolton called out. I'm not just going to hand the victory to you. First you helped me train, Gray huffed out between shallow breaths. And whoa, why am I so burpy tonight? Whoa. And now you want me to lose? I want you to win. I want you to win at the top of your performance. We're racehorses. We push each other. We only move as fast as the horse we can see. So pick up the pace because I'm about to pick up mine. Bolton shifted from a canter to a gallop, feet flying as they narrowed in on the carrots. But Gray took in a deep breath and focused. Don't think. Just set your target and go for it. Gray cleared her mind, and she didn't need to process what happened next. The carrots were a straight shot from here. Just rely on instinct. She couldn't compete with Bolton when it came to strategic angles and plans. She had to do it her own way, instinct alone. She curved outwards, and then from away from the direct angle of the carrots. She didn't know why. She just trusted her feet. Bolton glanced left and saw it, then panicked and stopped short to avoid hitting Gray. She slowed down, and it was enough for Gray to take the lead. Before she could even realize what happened, Gray stood holding the carrots. The crowd cheered based on the commotion, and it seemed like she had been standing there for a bit before coming to her sentence. Hey there, downtown Skybox, Bolton smiled and held out a hand to Gray. Gray grabbed Bolt's wrist and shook it firmly. Welcome back to the top. I'm gonna take a quick little break before we continue, and then we'll pick right back up. I'm back. I had to refill my water. And I had to empty my horse bladder. As that is that's a very apt description. No. All right. Where were we? I don't have an account. Do I have to have an account? No, I don't. We just gotta do our good diligence, our good deeds for the day. What? I can't kudo anymore. No. Boo. Bad website. Bad website. Good. Oh, there we go. What? That's only once per IP address? That is... Oh, okay. Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, that seems... Where are we? There we are. Alright. Okay, that makes more sense. Alright, yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, that seems stupid. Like, I can't go and like the rest of the chapters? Okay. Alright, where were we? We are... Alright. Ooh, this one has notes. Pick one. Ah, okay. These are all really good chapters. Like, I definitely... I don't know. If I had to pick one. Which one? I don't know. I don't know which one, like, is the best. They're all really good. I think, you know what? I liked, I think the last chapter is probably my favorite, because I liked, Gray's, like, how you write Gray. It's very, I don't know. For his hype moments in Aura, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That is, yeah. We haven't read all of them yet, so. But I also, yeah. I don't know. 3 was the fastest one, right? With Merriman's record. That one was also good. And like, you know, it's not to say that 1 and 2 are bad, but like you're just setting up everything, you know? And that's like being like, they didn't, like, the first sentence of this book sucked, and it's like, but did you like the rest of it? Yeah, the rest was great. Then why are you judging the first sentence? I don't know. Yeah, we don't even have. I haven't read it either. I haven't read it. I don't know if we'll see. We can try to get to there, but there's a lot left that we gotta read, and I don't know. It's already like 10 here, but ooh, oh, that was drippy. John Rittman. Chapter 5, Escaping the Labyrinth. How can you become so lost in a single hallway? It might seem impossible, but it's not. Not when dust fills the air and refuses to settle. Not when when you're too lost in your own grief over lost friends and failed ambitions to see a way out. Not when you've suffered a concussion at the hands of the only one who's ever stood by your side. Such was the situation that White and Cyan found themselves in. All they needed to do was find the carrots, and they got out. But no matter how hard they looked, there were none around. Maybe if they took their time, maybe if they collaborated, they could have found them by now. But there could only be one winner of a race, and White had made her choice. She was going to win at all costs, even if that meant cutting out Cyan. Cyan sulked in one of the chambers, pacing back and forth as she vigorously rubbed. What is she vigorously rubbing? As she vigorously rubbed her upper forearms in a futile attempt to calm her down. It was one of the closest things to an embrace she could get down here. She looked up and down the hallways leading out of the room, or was it into the leading out of the room, or was it leading into the room? It was hard to say how far into the maze she was. Maze. Through blurry vision, clouded by tears, she could see White running in circles in panic. Her beautiful ivory dress, adorned with fine lace and ribbons, had become tattered and stained from chaos. A stunning horse like that should never be without lovely finery, Cyan thought. Was this hell? Was the sin of losing so great a strain to command a punishment like this? Is that where maybe that's... I feel like Cyan's putting a lot of weight on this. Definitely... We'll talk more about that after this, but with the current Cyan situation. I want to get into that before I stop streaming, but she shuddered at the thought. If she thought too long about it, it would send her spiraling into an existential dread. Everything she did wrong in her life would come welling up from the long repressed memories. Her youth as a young colt, always the outcast of the herd, running by her lonesome to escape the pressures they put on her. The day she entered professional racing and screwed up so badly in her first match, the trainer had to see if there was a mistake in who was sent acceptances. When she first tried to confess those feelings that she kept so close to her chest to White, but backed out at the last second. She was bold on the field. Was there nothing but the dirt beneath her feet? But when confronted with matters of the heart, she was the biggest coward there was. Someone like that would only hold back White anyways. She had made that clear at the beginning of the race. Cyan, White called out, shaking Cyan out of the super. Have you found the carrots yet? Obviously not, she muttered. Eyes cast to the ground. So we're stuck. Or lost. No. White shook her head and looked around frantically as if the carrots might be tucked away in some secret part of the walls or the ceiling that they just hadn't found yet. They're here. They must be. And what if they're not? What if they just left us here? Left us to die? Don't be an idiot. Why would? Because nobody bets on losing horses. Oh, sure, someone might take pity on us, but they'll toss a few dollars our way just in case. Maybe they'll toss a few dollars our way just in case. But nobody will ever put a fortune on us. We're a lost cause. I'm not a loser, White said, glaring at Cyan. No, you're not. Cyan refused to meet her gaze. Her shoes were easier to look at. Not to me, at least. White stomped her hoof on the ground and let out a guttural huff. She plodded back and forth, hands balled into fists. One way or another, I'm getting out. She walked up to one of the walls and kicked it with all of her might. The wood shattered and chipped, leaving behind a sizable dent. She pounded the same spot with her fist and shouted upward at... Oh, gosh. Yeah. I'm so burpy, I don't know why. She pounded the same spot with her fist and shouted upwards at the ceilings. Do you hear me? I'm getting out of here. I will show you what I have what it takes. I'm not like Cyan, I promise. We're nothing alike. White, Cyan said gently. Or gently said, reaching her hand out to her friend's shoulder. White slapped away the hand and spun on her. She pointed a finger straight into White's chest and leaned in. They were so close, their noses almost touched. Cyan feared that White could hear her heartbeat. White's gaze was focused into that single left eye, her right covered by a fanciful eye patch. That eye burned a hole straight into Cyan's soul. She felt she felt all of 10 inches tall. I read that as she felt all 10 inches, and I was like, what? Don't ever put your hands on me again. Cyan trembled and stepped back. White turned away and rushed off down the hallway she had come from. Then back down again, up and down, up and down. She raced nowhere. In each room, she hit every wall, checked every surface. There had to be a way out. There just had to be. It was a trick, a measure of intelligence. White refused to believe otherwise. There was no other way they would just leave them here to die. Cyan had to be mistaken. She just had to be. With no luck in either room, White turned into the other hallways leading out of the room, where Cyan was left behind, sobbing in the corner. Maybe she was all too harsh on the girl. She was sweet and kind and compassionate. Everything White was not. Everything White should be. After every race, despite never winning, she would always congratulate the winner with a smile on her face. She'd rant to White about how much fun it had been, all the excitement they had. She couldn't wait to race again. The result of the race didn't matter. Must be a nice way of living. Must be a nice way to live, White thought. But it's not for me. As she walked into the next corridor, her pace was slowed by these thoughts. She took her time examining the walls, and there it was, a small egress leading off from the hallway. This labyrinth had trained them to see only turns at the end of the rooms. They had forgotten to check the sides of the walls, especially for exits so small. She began to trot towards it, but the echoing of Cyan's cries held her back. If she grabbed the carrots, what would happen to her friend? Despite it all, that's what they were. I guess that's what we still are, friends. If Cyan was right, then whoever lost this race would be consigned to Dismal or worse. They knew what happened to racehorses that couldn't compete anymore. If you were a champion, they might let you retire and live a nice long life. But Cyan was far from a champion. White had began to walk backwards, shying away from the hallway. But the lure of victory pulled her in closer and closer. Without realizing it, her feet had dragged her back to where she began. But Cyan's sorrow was loud enough to shake White loose from the grip of desire. With a heavy heart, she turned back around into the room where Cyan remained. I found the carrot, she said. What? What? Cyan looked up, blinking away tears so she could see White. It's right down the next hallway. There's a turn we missed. Well, aren't you going for it? If I do that, White paused. She wasn't sure what she wanted to ask. She wanted to ask the question. What happens to you? You seem to understand how this place works. Oh, right. Yeah. The two remained silent for a long while. Go for it, Cyan said. White was startled and took a step back. What? You heard me. Go for it. If I do that, then you know what'll happen to me. But you have so much to live for. You said it yourself. I'm getting in your way. Go. Win some races. Just promise you won't forget me. Sigh. White walked up to her friend and cupped a hand on her cheek. Please, don't argue. For once in my life, I'm standing up for myself. And I'd like it to work this time. White clenched her jaw. Looked off to the hallway. Slowly she walked down towards it. This was no longer a race. There was no need for speed. There was a time to do one thing. With a sprint, White rushed back towards Cyan and wrapped her arms around her neck. Let me say I'm sorry for all the things I said, for all the tears I made you shed. Let me do it the only way I know how. Cyan inhaled, a wordless nod. She lowered her face to White's and closed her eyes. Slowly and gently they brought their lips together. Here they had all the time in the world. No other horses around, no clock to beat, nothing to distract them, nothing to distract from the warmth of, from the feeling of warmth, joy, sorrow, and regret, intermingling as two souls became one. They could have stayed like that forever, but all good things must come to an end. Cyan was the first to pull away. She walked backwards, slowly slipping loose of White's arms. I'm going to go into the very last room, she said. I don't want you to see me when you go for the carrots. I'm not going to hold you back anymore. Sigh, White called out, and now it was her turn to let tears flow. I don't want to leave you. I know, she said with a bittersweet smile, and that's why you have to. Cyan trotted off, leaving White behind, with the slowest pace White had ever used on the track. She stumbled down the hallway. She ran her hand against the wall as she rounded the corner to follow the orange light. You might not want to eat those. Carrots shouldn't have an orange light. Anything to keep herself from falling. She was right. The carrots were here all along, dangling in the middle of the room dangling in midair in this room. They were repulsive things, no better than a murder weapon. If she so much as touched them, that would be the end of it. And yet, that's all she had to do. There was no other option. Victory had never been so rotten. This art. Well, now I got it. Well, let's see. Let's see this art. Yeah. That's good art. That's good art. That's good art. All right. That was actually a short chapter, so maybe we can finish this. It's so good. It actually is so good. And the winner is Resolute. Oh wait, hold on. Fuck my big chungus life. I forgot to read the chapter. Chapter 6. Did I read the? I did, right? I'm not. Whoa, this one's a long one. Yeah, no, I read that one. I read that chapter title. All right. Chapter 6, Resolute Mind Afternoon. And the winner is Resolute Mind Afternoon. Do you hear that? Do you hear that, losers? This is just the start. Watch out, jovial merriment. The new absolute champion has arrived. The horse, formerly known as Red, stood tall, and stood tall and proud on the podium, her hands on her hips and a carrot held between her beaming teeth. But out of the other horses gathered around, only Pink seemed to care. She was jumping up and down, clapping in excitement. Doorknob stood behind with a hand on her shoulder, but with her eyes only focused on Pink. Downtown Skybox stood off to the side, bent over and panting with an unbuttoned vest, trying to cool down. And of course there was the trio of Yellow, Jovial Merriment, and Bulletin Board standing together, exchanging smoldering glances between themselves. Red furrowed her brow and cocked her head to the side. Her hands dropped down, suddenly deflated. Hey, what gives? What happened out there? 2 days ago. Red paced back and forth in her stall as Pink sat on the bed watching intently. That first race doesn't count, Red said, more to herself than to Pink. Jovial and Yellow collaborated, so it wasn't a fair race. Right, Pink said. And today, well, that was a fluke. Who knew Downtown Skybox could move like that? Where did you even learn that? Right. Well, today's gonna be different. Mark my words, Pink. Right. Don't worry. We'll show them why we got selected as new recruits. Getting to the top of the last league was easy enough. We'll do it again. Me first, then you second. Right. Then, well, I should get some rest. I don't know about you, but I'm so fucking sore. Have a good night, Pink. Always great to have your support. Pink stood up and slipped her hoodie over her sweater. Red ruffled her hair as she passed by and left the door. It was nice being friends with someone, especially when they didn't expect you to say much. She also told Pink what she should do. And it was usually for her benefit. It was nice to let someone else take the reins. As she gently closed the door, careful not to make too much noise, a voice called out from behind. There you are, Doorknob said. Yip! Pink said with a jump. Oh, hi there, phone. Quiet. Were you... Okay. That was actually important information for me to know. Anyways. But that's... Anyways. Sorry. My bad. Where were we? Oh, that's right. Hi there, Miss Doorknob. I don't want to give you any trouble. Sorry about earlier. Doorknob nodded her head towards the door that led outside the hallway into the yard. Let's go for a walk. Pink looked around, trying to find some excuse to slip away. Where was Red when she needed her? With no way out, she just drew her hoodie tighter over herself and followed. You don't have to apologize. You don't have to apologize, you know. Sorry, I do that too much. Doorknob opened the door for Pink and followed out after her. As they walked out, Doorknob took a long string of hay and began to chew on it idly chew on it. Ugh, you're pretty strong, you know. Oh, I'm not that strong. I just work out a little bit. I'm not weak. That means I'm not weak. That means you're strong. Just a fact. Oh, okay. Where'd you learn to fight like that, anyways? The last track Red and I were at, it was pretty rough. Makes sense. I could smell it on Red. Smell it? Her personality. Is that why you listen to everything she tells you to do? She's my friend. A real friend wouldn't make you fight her battles. Right. You're fast, too. Not as fast as you or Bulletin Board, or Jovial Merriment, or Downtown Skybox. Winning and speed are not the same. I'm fast, Mary's fast, Bolt's smart, and Sky's agile. They're different things. Oh, sorry. Doorknob aside and shoved her hands in her pockets, in the pockets of her of her leather fur jacket. That's your problem. What? Pink's eyes widened and started to tremble. First, Doorknob complimented her, and now she's said she was a problem. It was so confusing. She just wanted to slip away and disappear. This was too much attention, too much analysis. You need a spine. You're strong. You're fast. You should be dominating these races. Don't say it. Pink shut her mouth and chewed on her cheek. Here's the deal, Doorknob said. I'm gonna train you to be less scared. You're gonna go along with it. You'll race for yourself, not for Red. You'll shove the other races aside when you need to, and keep running straight forwards, even if there's conflict. Got it? Can I say no? Not an option. Right. So Doorknob's got this theory, Jovial Merriment said as she did side lunges at the starting track of the practice track. That I'm fast, but you two are smart and nimble. She pointed to Bolton and Skybox respectively. Skybox was stretching, as well, doing high steps, but Bolton stood off to the side of the track. She looked at Mary skeptically, with crossed arms. Well, does it matter? Bolton said. Do you really need to prove you're the fastest? Yeah, I do, Mary said quietly, because then we can put this whole cheating debate aside. If Doorknob's right, then I got a fast time because I'm just a fast racer, and nobody challenged me in that race. Sure, then you can complain even more about us stopping you last race. I'd like to see if Doorknob's right, Skybox interjected. I'm curious. Bolton pursed her lips and looked around hesitantly. If Skybox wasn't here, it'd be easy to shrug off Mary. But this would be good practice for Sky. She couldn't let her slip back into complacency after just one win. Oh, excuse me. Fine, Bolton grumbled as she took her place at the starting line. Let's race. Sorry, I lost my place entirely. Mary flashed an easy smile and gave a thumbs up. That's the spirit. The three horses finished stretching and took their starting places. We'll do 3 laps, Mary said. No shoving, no cutting off, just stick to your lane. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, go! They darted off, each going as fast as they possibly could. Skybox kept pace with the other two, but it wasn't in sync with the way Bolton and Mary were. Those two kept the exact pace. Jeez Louise. Neck and neck. Each hoof beat perfectly matched. It was like the entire world faded away, and nothing else mattered. Not yesterday's race, nor tomorrow's. Not Sky, Doorknob, Yellow, or any other horse. Bolton dared a quick look to see Mary's expression. She was smiling, back to her normal, jovial self. This was why fans loved her, being at the top and having a blast doing it. Mary glanced over, too. She giggled and saw Bolton's expression. See you're enjoying yourself, huh? Bolton realized she was smiling, too. How did she not notice? Mary was right. All Bolton had, all Bolton had put her through, just to dampen that smile, sabotaging her race, gloating when the scores were tied, and then one awful thing that left a festering hole in Bolton's heart. All this time, they could have been racing together like they were now. Mary, Bolton, and Sky, of course. She was right there with them, and she was too, and she too was having fun. That sweet horse was full of doubt, who just wanted to win, and Bolton used her as a tool to make Mary doubt herself. That damned orange horse had driven her into a dangerous obsession, and along the way Bolton had lost herself. Was it too late to find her way back? After 3 laps, the race ended. Mary came in first, Bolton next, and having paced herself better than Sky, who was who had tired herself out in the second half. Doorknob was right, which didn't surprise any of them. She was always observant. She didn't even get involved much. She always took notice. As they exited the track, Yellow trotted up to them, or rather specifically Bolton. "Got a minute?" Yellow asked. "I suppose so," Bolton said with a shrug. Yellow waved for Bolton to follow her and walk off away from the track to the side of the nearby stables. She leaned one shoulder against the wall and crossed her arms. Bolton took up a similar position, facing Yellow with a shoulder against the wall and the opposite hand resting on her hip. "What you did was just plain wrong," Yellow said. "You talk this big game about how important it is we all follow all the rules, and then you stop Mary from competing completely." "I know," Bolton said. "I shouldn't have done that." "Oh, you know? Then why did you do it?" "I didn't realize it at the time. Look, it was a mistake, and I'm gonna try to do better." "Better? Not sabotaging others is the bare minimum, Bolton." What do you want me to do? Apologize? It'd be a good start." "Then I'm sorry. Truly, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have sabotaged her. I shouldn't have been gloating earlier, either. I never should have said that she was doping." "That was you?" Yellow's jaw dropped. Then shock turned to anger. "You started that rumor. Do you know all the damage you caused? All the stress, and worry you caused her? All the people that have out there that lost their respect?" "I know," Bolton started. "No, I don't want to hear it. Whatever excuse you're gonna make, keep it to yourself. This is beyond some scuffle at the starting gates. You're so screwed up, Bolton. I'll see you at the races." "Hey, wait," she called out, but Yell kept walking off. "I really am sorry," Bolton said quietly to herself.
6, 5, 4.
This was the most uncomfortable Bolton had ever experienced. She could feel the intense stare Yellow was giving her. Even if she couldn't see it, it was deserved, much so. But she wanted to focus on the race, not the drama. If it got out that Bolton had started the rumor, it could be the last race. It could be her last race. And she wanted to spend it putting what Mary had taught her into practice. Unfortunately, it was hard to have fun when someone was giving you a death stare, especially when it was for good reason.
3, 2, 1.
Whatever, Bolton thought. I'll just race the way I normally do. The horses began to canter off. And though it was a tight fit, trying to get past Doorknob and Skybox, she was able to squeeze her way out through the starting gate. The next hallway was a dead head, and soon she was able to pick up and she was able to pick up. Blah. Gosh. Oh, I need to refocus 1 second. Oh. And soon she was able to just concentrate on the race and leave the rest behind. But someone yanked back on the collar of her jacket, and she was sent flying to the ground. Bolton jerked her head back to see who was at fault, and found Yellow standing over her, face smoldering. I guess I should have expected this. Bolton scrambled to her feet and dusted herself off, only Yellow to charge and slam into her. Didn't realize you packed such a punch, Bolton coughed out. Yellow simply refused to reply, just standing there silently.
He's just standing there, menacingly.
But then the most unexpected horse came to help, pushing her way between the two of them. Jovial Merriment stood with arms outstretched, staring down at Yellow. What has gone into you? Mary asked in a mix of confusion and annoyance. Let her race, she's fine. You don't know what she's done, Yellow spat out. She's the one who started the rumors. Mary's face went pale. She turned in horror to face Bolton. The blue horse had held her head low in shame, refusing to face her accuser. Is this true? Mary asked, in her voice distant and heartbroken. Why would you do that? I couldn't believe that I wasn't able to keep up with you, Bolton muttered. I'm sorry. I'm so terribly sorry. Mary slowly approached, reaching her hand out to Bolton, but Yellow intervened with an elbow straight to Bolton's gut. Bolton collapsed down to her hands and knees. At that moment, Mary forgot about the past entirely. The love she had for Yellow, the wrongs Bolton had committed. All she saw was one horse hitting another while she was down. Mary surged forward and shoved Yellow out of the way, pushing her into the wall. Ow! Yellow screamed back out as her back collided with the painted wood. The shout of her beloved Yellow in pain shook Mary to her core. What had she done? Yellow, I didn't mean to, Mary said. I would never. Yellow looked up, her eyes full of hurt and betrayal. Tears started to form. And all Mary wanted to do was wrap her in a warm embrace and issue apologies until the end of time. But Bolton got in the way, taking the chance to strike Yellow back, slapping her across the face with the base of her palm. Mary lunged and grabbed a hold of Bolton's tie, and she yanked the blue horse back and reared up a hand, preparing to hit her in return. Don't you dare lay a finger on her, she said. I don't need your protection, Yellow yelled out as she brushed the back of her hand across her face, wiping away the nosebleed that Bolton had caused. Just let her go. She's been held back enough. We're even. Mary looked up at between Bolton and Yellow. Her brows knit together in confusion. She wanted to sit down with both of them, work everything out until everyone was happy. But this was not the time nor the place. Mary released Bolton's tie and stepped back. Yellow dashed out of the starting gate, not looking back at either horse. Bolton readjusted her tie and coughed. We'll talk about this later, okay? Mary asked. Bolton didn't respond. She just continued off, following Yellow down the track. Mary stood still, lost in a moment of self-pity. They would have to sort this out later. But for now, the only thing that left to do was to race. So off she ran, trying to desperately catch up to Yellow. Further down the track, Yellow was now halfway between the start and the finish, but she was far from the only one. Red was the first horse there, and was now caught playing defensively to stop Yellow. Skybox and Pink Yellow skybox and even Pink from moving forward. What the hell are you doing, Pink? Red shouted. You're supposed to let me win. Doorknob said I have to race for myself. Pink replied as she grabbed Red by the wrist and spun her around. The two had been fighting fighting long before Sky and Yellow got there. The two other horses were caught off guard and stayed back as much as they could, letting Pink and Red sort it out. Unfortunately, as much as Doorknob had instilled in her about confidence and using her strengths to her advantage, she did little to instill any sort of tactical thinking. As Pink spun Red away and sent her flying down the hallway towards the carrot, she also stumbled back further towards the starting gates. What? How did this happen? Pink collided with Sky, and the two became lost in the middle of the track. Out of the bumbling confusion, Mary rushed forward. She wasn't trying to get the carrots. There was a different goal in her mind. She ran up beside Yellow and matched her pace. Screw waiting to sort things out later. She had to address things now. Yellow, please, Mary said. Listen to me. I didn't want to hurt you. I would never. Shove it, Mary, Yellow said in a tone forward to Mary's ear. I don't want to hear it. Yellow and Mary were in second and third place. So close to reaching the carrots. But they began to bicker and argue. Mary tried and failed to explain what happened with Bolton. Yellow refused to forgive her for starting the rumors, but wanted to move on. Mary didn't let it go. They were so caught up in the conversation that their pace slowed, and they lost sight of the finish. Red was left at the end, trotting around near the carrots. She could seize them now and win, but where was the audience? Where was the dramatic nail-biting finish that would send the crowd wild? Obviously, she would be the winner, but she honestly didn't expect it to be this much. Well, there's enough time to wait. Let's end this show. She ran forward and seized the carrots in one hand, and then held them high above her head. And the winner is Resolute Mind Afternoon. Do you hear that, losers? This is just the start. Watch out, jovial merriment. There's a new absolute champion has arrived. Alright, now time for art. Ooh. Peak. All the art is peak. Did I lose? I did lose it. Maybe, wait, no, I did. Wait, did I? Let's see. No, that's not what I want. Whoever, the art that I got for my thumbnail, that's all I really, that's what I was gonna show. I think I'm gonna stop reading because I am. Whoa, it's almost 11. Fuck me. And I've been reading for 2 hours, and my voice is like tired. So, yeah, no, this is really good. We'll come back and finish this tomorrow and read more views. Read more, not views. What is the word? Fan fictions. We'll read more fan fictions tomorrow. But yeah, no, I love this community so much. I love the horse race testing community. I don't want it. I really hope that they're not. Yeah, of course. I'm glad. Thank you for making it. I love me too. Time to speedrun. Absolutely. Yeah. I really hope that they, Snake Andrews, like, continue, like, this is, like, I hope this is the end of the testing phase, and that they, like, now it's real races or something. Nice. I guess we can talk a little. What is going on with what do you I know a lot of people think that this is like the nightmare, like science nightmare, which honestly is making more sense now. Also, who do you guys want to win tomorrow? I want my little Grimbus to win. My little Grimbly man. But I don't know. When I first like saw this, I was actually thinking like, oh, this is just like this is a new batch of horses. But like the nightmare theory makes a lot of sense. But then so does the cloning or like theory as well. Like there's probably no answer to it. This guy has Scott coffined us, and he's like, everybody's a little bit right with that box. And it's like, no, please. We're obsessed. I mean, that's fair. I honestly, I definitely understand. Like, I understand it. I also, I don't know. I like both. I want both. But I kind of want cloning more. But that's just because I'm John Rittman and I want a lawsuit. So, if the races end before Yellow gets a single win, I will say, yeah. I set up half my story for that, and Snake Andrews keeps Mary balling me. It's crazy. Like I don't know how these races go. Yeah, that is true. Well, no, like it kind of, there is kind of like a thing that works with it. Hold on, let's see here. Also, this was crazy. Is this AI? Do you guys know for certain? Because I've seen people be like, oh, this is AI, but like, I can't tell anymore, and I hate just to be like, oh, it's AI, it's AI. Like, it's like I don't know. I don't want to shit on somebody's artwork for no reason. I'm realizing this is not the best method of finding what I want to find. I mean, it also works so well with the white, and then all the, like, especially with white winning before them all. I do okay, I think that there's with Garbage Bin winning today, if that naming convention holds up and like all these other horses have like really sad or like self-deprecating names, it could, like, that would make a lot of sense, that these are twisted forms of Cyan's mind. But oh, wait, what am I doing? I can just hold on. I don't know if there is. Let's see here. I gotta go. Let me find my profile. Let me. Going down the thing. We will see. There it is. So, with yeah, with this map in particular, after they're like, this works right here. Like this, I think lends a lot of hello, greetings, welcome in. We're wrapping things up, but if you want a nice little audio book to listen to, there are the VOD will be on my YouTube. So if you want to go back and have Catworm Monarch's lovely fan fiction read to you, so you don't have to read, then I would recommend. Ooh, nope. Where am I? Where were we? There it is. But yeah, I don't know. That's AI. Shame on Pete. It doesn't surprise me, but I was hoping PETA would do. Like, I'm like, if you're gonna be PETA, at least pay artists. You know, have an ethical treatment towards the animals that are artists. Because let's be honest, artists are, you know, I think are pretty freaky. They deserve to be treated like animals with the freak that they possess. With all this horse fury. Yeah, people not against the ethical people against the ethical treatment of artists. We sit them down, we put all their art into an AI program and force them to watch it churn out slop. A fate worse than death. But yeah. Oh. Again, so who can I find it? Where's the Grimbuses? Where's the Grimblies? What Grimblies do you want to win tomorrow? Do you guys I want OOB, but you like this. I like Skinny Legs too. I'm all in on Cyan. Well, that's the only choice you got anymore. Mary's off the rails on Twitter. What's going on? What? What's going on Twitter? I haven't read anything for 2 hours. But yeah. Thank you guys all for being here so much and for following me. And we'll be back. I have no idea what time tomorrow. But if there's a time that I come up with, I'll let you all know. But we will. Yeah. Okay. Dang, that's it's gonna be a late night at the office again. Freaking George Lopez tweet or George Lopez is gonna be on my TV tonight. And I'll post the VOD on the Twitter. And without further ado, you guys, I'm just gonna read out the people who have followed me. So if you wanna leave, you can. If you wanna stay, you can. But with that, thank you all for coming. Thank you for getting me to 50 followers. Again, insane, absolute. Thank you again. But yeah. So Catworm Monarch, thank you for following. Raspberry Gummy, Hasbeans 558, Fawn of Time, Tease of M, thank you for following. The Nick Project, thank you for following. The Trigger Happy 5293, Willie Balls Inspector, Starfell, Rain X2M, Blink underscore Y, Incani, R Vitar 34, Tony Astro, Bokta, Rokubana, Bana. If I mispronounce it, I'm sorry. Friday Pilot, Zonery Zone, No Wonder, No Wonder. Thank you for following. Miles DLL, Surium 2, Windnia, 2 Boink, SW Morningstar, Grilled Cheese, Road MC3, and Consultant. Thank you all for following me. It is awesome, and I am so happy that I didn't know how tonight was gonna turn out, and I'm so thankful that you all decided to join me for reading some nice Horse Yuri fanfiction. Not as much kissing as I had hoped for, but you know, that's, you know, with orange and yellow, I'm sure that it's that, yeah, I'm gonna say that there's got to be more. It builds, yeah, but yeah, soon. So hopefully tomorrow is the beginning of official horse races, and not just horse race tests. Horse race official is what we're hoping for. But if it is not so, then hopefully somebody else is able to take the reins. So without further ado, may you all have